All right, guys. We just finished the workout upstairs with Adam. This has been going on. Well, we've been sort of training for the last 4 weeks, and it can be as cold as it is outside, and we still tend to sweat a fair bit once we hit that Stairmaster. And it's the same for the spin room. When I get out of there, someone thinks I'm throwing water on myself. But I met you at Pete Witherspoon's Christmas party in December last year, and we sort of hit it off straight away. And then you came back, you had a look at the gym, and you were thinking of starting, and you looked like you were changing job roles, and that didn't happen. And then you started training here in April. You came back, you said, mate, I want to start. You got a lot of friends in the industry, from Tide to F45 to Pico, from Body Science. And then you came here. I told you, mate, it's good if you can go in the challenge. I liked your story, and I remember when you came in, you go, Meds, I just want to know about how you create time. How do you fit everything in? Yeah. And it was a really, really interesting question for me, because I like the hard ones, you know. But let me ask you this, right? This is on you first. You can ask me a question. But when you started, could you foresee how much weight you would have lost till this point? Or did you sort of have a target of like 4 or 5 kilos?
Yeah, well, I think it's fair to say everyone starts off with a mission of what they think is going to be attainable, and you put that number down, and in the back of your head that other voice is just telling you, you know, it's a good goal, but you're probably not going to hit it. And now to see where I've kind of got to, and probably going to beat that target, it's really impressed myself. And, you know, it's impressed others around me. People who don't get to see you in a while suddenly realise that you've actually put the effort in, because this stuff just doesn't fall off you, you know. A diet alone, exercise alone is not going to do it. It's a holistic approach, and you know, I've been, as you said, pretty spoiled. I've got a lot of friends that are in the industry and who have all kind of tried to help in their own way, but because of, you know, location of their gyms, or you know, what they have to do in their own time, you always feel guilty to ask too much. So programs like this, which allow accountability on both sides, you know, I'm paying for a service, and that service needs to be able to deliver the product I want. But on the same token, you need people to put in, because you can design a program, you can have meal plans and everything that the Fit 40 kind of offers you, but if you don't put it in, it's just not going to have that impact at the end. So, you know, you can't ask your friends for that stuff. So it was great to have met yourself, and to kind of see that, you know, you can kind of enjoy your life, but also have a healthy approach to fitness without having to be a gym junkie or something like that, which, you know I never was going to be.
You know what's like, for me, it was like, so like, I'll just tell people on camera, once we looked at the weight a couple of days ago, you were around the 8, 7.5, 8. Then we stepped it up a bit more on the Stairmaster, and then you're at 9, 9.5, and we're aiming at 11, right? Now, a lot of people will go 11 in 40 days, that's just too much, right? But you seem to have just done it without it really knocking you out, exhausting you. You're not in a calorie deficit. It was almost, it wasn't a cruise, but it was like a cruise. Like it was like, this weight's coming off, and I'm not dying. I can go home, spend time with my kids, with my wife, with my family, and still have my weekends. So you done it the right way. 100%. Like, people would look at that and say, all right, 11 kilos. He's changed his whole lifestyle. You didn't really change much, did you?
No, well,
you did in the exercise.
Exactly right. And I'm not sweating because of the questions you're asking me. We've literally
just have a look at that sweat.
We've just literally finished up on that bloody Stairmaster. I hate that thing, but it's good for you. The truth of the matter is, I got 2 little kids. One of the people that has supported me on this the most is my wife. To be able to, there is time that you have to spend down here and train and everything, and for her to take that time with the children and to give me that is obviously a massive dedication on her behalf. But it also means you become very conscious of that luxury you get. So when you are at home, for me particularly, you're much more conscious in your approach there. Has it been a massive change? In some parts, yes. You realise what you're achieving, and that reinforces that discipline. Everyone has those weekends where, you know, you've got friends over, or you've got a client function or whatever, and it's a matter of going, okay, I've worked hard to achieve where I'm at. I'm not going to let one night take me back again, because there is that accountability. You are getting weighed in, you are measuring your own achievement, yes, you can find that a daunting experience, and God knows when I was standing on the machine in front of people walking past, you do get a bit self-conscious and go, shit, hopefully they can't see my number. But it also means you've got someone there who knows where you started your journey, so you kind of feel like you're letting the team down if you don't keep on it. So it has been a gradual change, is what I'll say. Someone looking at me at the end and seeing that we've trained, I think now 8-9 times this week, would go, that's pretty extreme. I don't want to do that. Now that's only because of what we've done in steps to get here. So yes, it seems a bit more extreme. Yes, it's been a hard slog, but in saying that as well, it's come of the fact that I started just like everyone else did, walking up to the weights, and I hadn't done it in a long time. There's a lot of exercises I wasn't familiar with, so I was that plonker on Google looking up, YouTube videos of how to do the right exercise there, because I didn't want to pester anyone. I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing. So I started just like everyone else does.
Do you think the turning point was when we done the boot camp on a Thursday night and then Todd the next morning?
So again, I've got friends, and I call them friends loosely, because what he did to us the morning after the boot camp just wasn't holy. Yes, that was a particularly tough session, but for me personally, being able to train with you, being able to train with other people who are in the industry, you realise the level of fitness you guys have. But to be able to hold my own kind of showed me that there's a lot more in my tank than what I was thinking. So we went from a heavy boot camp to my mate coming over to train both of us, and he said we're just going to do legs that day. Well, it quickly turned into a functional training circuit where I don't know how we didn't vomit.
That's usually my weakest point there, far out.
But again, we got through it. And the benefit of that is where I kind of enjoy this type of training, which is different to a lot of other gyms I've been a member of. You see the trainers training as well. So you kind of see them putting in their sweat and showing you that they can follow technique, they can keep speed up and all of that. So you know it's physically possible. It's not just someone standing in a jumper and tracksuit pants telling you to go harder in the cold. There's actually ownership over what you're telling us to do. So that's a real positive to me.
And there's also the CEO going in to do a class and not being the best and being happy with that.
Exactly right. and the humility you bring. You know you're not going to beat some of them. And I can see you when we're doing the boot camps looking at one of the ladies or guys next to you who are just smashing it out, and you're kind of scratching your head. But again, like we've realised, you start to develop strengths in certain areas. For me, I love spin, and I like to try and keep on top of you, but then we get on the stair machine and you leave me for dead. So
that's the best part, isn't it?
That's exactly right. That's it.
You got any questions for me?
100%. So we talk about sacrifice to run a gym, to be the leader to your team and all of that. There must be things that are outside of your life that you feel like you're sacrificing. How are you kind of developing strategies to make sure that you're living holistically? It's not just...
I'll tell you what it is. When you give so much, when I talk about the two ends, isolation over exposure, you actually need those two ends. So when you give so much, you need the isolation for you, for yourself. So for me, it's like going home, no one being there. That's for me, whether it's like part of meditation, whether it's me reinforcing where I want to be, and having the confidence to come back. And when I have that time alone, I know exactly what my team needs, I know exactly what everyone needs, but more importantly, I know exactly where I need to be. And what I say is I'm in the process of progress all the time, and I understand the two ends. And yesterday I was talking to the seminar, the only thing we can control is our breathing. So when I do feel that, I start breathing, and I go, I'm responsible, I'm accountable for absolutely everything that I've put my hand up to do. So if I'm the CEO of this business, I'm accountable, I'm responsible. So if you've got a problem, I'll take that accountability and responsibility. Now, if I go the blame game, I'm giving that energy to someone else, and I'm blaming someone, and then I get attached to that blame. If I attach everything to me, that means that I'm accountable for all my actions, right? So as I got older, and this comes with experience, is you enjoy the time alone. Because you figure out yourself, you figure out who you are at the core and the nucleus level. It doesn't mean you're not going to change and become the new version of yourself. But what it means is you know how to find that center. So on the two ends, I find that breathing pattern that I need. And last night I was gone in that in that boot camp. I was tired before, and you just seen me. I was knocked out. I was absolutely exhausted because when you're giving so much energy out. But what I done was, and I said what I was going to do. I got my breathing right.
Yep.
If you get your breathing right in anything you do, you can find anything you want. So if you feel like you're sacrificing yourself for something, as long as it's selfless and you can find the breathing pattern in that to find the center, it doesn't feel like it is. It doesn't feel like it is. And I say that now because of where I am at in my life. And I believe if you get trained from a young age and you're around someone that you want to model, you can become that person earlier if you want. Now, it's a lot harder because your mindset's not quite there. And so for me, what I had when I was younger, you know, when I used to go out, when I used to party, when I was a rat bag, I call myself a rat bag, I didn't enjoy that. I like the guy I am now. I like those times when I'm on my own. I like those times when I'm talking to you upstairs. I really enjoy. What I'm tending to do now is even when I'm tired, I go, how can I enjoy the moment? What can I learn in that moment?
Yep.
And because I'm learning all the time, I'm not sacrificing anything. The biggest thing I've got to get right all the time, and we all have to get right, get your breathing right.
Yep.
Because when you're feeling a bit anxious, when you're feeling like, did my message come across? Have a look at yourself. Was there enough clarity in that message? So for me, you know, when you said to me, how do you fit it all in? It's not that hard. You just got to know who you are and get everything right. And I'm going to be honest with you. Look, it's like us doing the workouts together. That's been brilliant for me. You can learn so much off people.
Yep.
Surround yourself with the right people, man. You just learn so much. Like, you've got a wealth of knowledge. You know, and I say this to my team. There's so many good, amazing people in here.
Yeah.
Focus on those people because they can become not just your friend, but someone that can mentor you. Like, I look at everyone as a mentor as well. Don't let the ego take over either.
No.
So don't feel like you're above anyone. I never felt that. I remember you felt you were at this end, and you thought I was at this end.
Yep.
We weren't at none of those ends. We were right here. But it was only towards the end that you started realising that.
Absolutely. So you talk about a process of progress, and when we've spoken while we're training and everything, we talk about the fact that if you have that discipline in the things you can control, when you're faced with things you can't control, that discipline helps you. You recently went through a massive loss. How do you see the old Mets to the new Mets? Was there anything that you found in that moment that really changed?
It was the biggest pivotal change in my life of a state of calmness, and I could sit down with my team with much more empathy, of understanding. Don't get me wrong, you know, when you move off that center, you can move off the two ends. That's never going to stop happening. And it's like this thing, what you're trying to weed out is the person that didn't bring you back to that center. Okay, so I'm trying to get back there as fast as I can, because that's when I can be in a state of calmness, that's when I can move in a state of flow, and I can move in a state of speed as well. But I can also control my mind. So for me, what happened there was, with my dad, was discipline 100%, because you need discipline on every end and even in the middle. Because things are going to go wrong. There's no way in this world things are going to go absolutely right for you. And for me, it was finding that empathy, finding that calmness, finding that center, finding that state of flow, which isn't easy to do though, because of our environment, because of the energy around us. It's different if you're in, if you're, with monks and you're in India and that, because that's that environment. Right? I'm not in that environment.
No.
So I've got to create my environment.
That's that's to me one of the biggest things I've learned through this process is that discipline can help you with those, those curveballs that you face in life, and being able to have that mental strength because you have that outlet every day of being able to exert yourself to a point where you can clear your mind, and if it's getting a refresher so you can just put your thoughts into structure and everything. And I notice that with you, which is amazing. The other thing that I'd like to say, and I'm sure it's on behalf of a lot of people, is to hear the humility and the actual rawness of what you went through was amazing, because it really there's a lot of people going through their own journeys, I'm sure, and to hear that, you can actually be quite raw and humble in that approach was really powerful.
Look, there's a couple of things. You need humility, you got to be humble. You talk about an ego, and you can't allow that ego of you thinking you're the best take over and own you.
Yeah.
But you have to have an element of ego to say, I'm here to, that ego is here to serve.
Yep.
Right? And that serves you and others, right? So you have to have an element of that, but then you've got to take the element away of me, I'm better than you. No, I'm here to learn from you.
Yep.
I'm here to see what's going through you. How can I help you? Because I might learn something off you that someone that I've never seen from someone else.
Yep.
And I've just learned from you. So it's very important to understand what ego means. It's on the two ends.
Yep.
And for me, you know, my dad was a very humble man. Even though he knew that there was certain elements he was great at, he was always serving. And for me, when I see that service, I go, well, that's the person I have to become. One thing he was very disciplined. So when I don't want to wake up when I'm tired, I hear his voice, right?
Yeah.
And things like they don't get easy. There's elements where it's going to come back at you, but I just say, what's he saying to me right now? What's he telling me to do right now? And you know, there's days when I'm tired. There's days when I'm knocked out. I'll find that center, man. Just find that center, that place where you feel the best.
Yep.
And it's usually a place where there's a lot of stillness and quiet. That's where you're going to find yourself.
Okay.
And then you can find that discipline within that.
Yep.
And you can get going again. But you find that quiet place in your mind. Because when it's going like this, your mind's going 100 miles an hour and you can't even stand still to figure out what the right reaction or the action is to that.
It's funny you say that, because I was talking to one of the other members and they kind of say, even though they may be in a spin session where it is noise and craziness, they find that stillness.
Yeah.
Because everything is just going into the fitness, so it creates that clarity of mind, which I didn't understand until we started getting into it. I still can't get that stillness and clarity on the stand machine. I'm just trying to get off as quick as possible.
Because we're talking.
But yeah.
Because we're constantly talking to each other. But what's so good about this, and man, I like this chat right now. I think a lot of members can take something away from this, and that's why I like doing these little videos. And not only that, I've seen a big change in you. Like that's been the best part.
Yep.
When I see that, I get excited. Not only that, when I feel that you're getting confident, when you're wanting it more than you've wanted it,
yeah,
that's the best part.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not even pushing it; it's you're just flowing now from that, and you're making me do the work. You know, when you get to that point there, that's the point where you want to be at, where you can then get the CEO and the trainer going, "I'm coming to the gym."
Yep.
Because then you know, mate, I'm on the right track, and then we're feeding off the energy from one another
100%.
to become the best version of each other, and that's been the best part, Ads. And I think why people should do this challenge is, mate, you meet great people down there. You've met a few great people down there. You meet amazing people that are sort of on the same path, and then what we're trying to do is bring a few people back into the lane where they should be, rather than just doing 40 days and saying, I've got it. No one's got it. I don't have it anymore.
That's it.
You know what I mean? If I'm going to live for the next 40 years, that's what I'm looking at.
But that's it. And look, the sad reality is, no matter what you try to do for culture, what you try to do with your layouts of your gyms, etc., there's always someone new starting up that feels intimidated, feels not confident about, you know, how do they fit in, how do they create a program for themselves. And I think, you know, my suggestion to new members or people wondering if they should apply is the fact that by signing up to something like that, it introduces you into an inner track whereby, you know, explanations are there. Team members want to help in every facet. Like, you know, we've talked about mental state, let alone physical state, you know, but there's other team members that you can just go and approach and almost have, you know, a 15-20 minute coaching session as part of the program. So, you know, it's definitely a great program. And then, you know, the thing that helped me massively is what to do at home, meal plans, all of that stuff. Look, it's definitely something that has really impressed me, and you know, I'm glad that we can kind of have the chat and show that, you know, I wasn't this mad fitness buff at the beginning. You know, I didn't overeat just so I could easily lose weight along the program. It was who I was. I signed up, I was nervous as hell like everyone else, and then you eventually get to this stage where you kind of pat yourself on the back and are proud of what you've achieved.
You know, I want to mention one thing. You know, when we met in December, right? But you already knew Titan Fitness before you knew me. Tell people where you thought Titan Fitness was and that you didn't fit the criteria of it. Like mentally you thought, no, I can't go there because they're these types of people.
That's it.
What's that perception from that Adam to the perception of the Adam now in here?
Oh, definitely. Look, I think anyone who drives past, it's a slick presentation on the front, its location and everything indicates it's going to be a premium gym for super athletes. You know, that's going to be who attends this gym, and it was just a perception of my own from driving around and living in the area. But when you actually get in here, you realise that everyone is very similar to yourself. You know, they're all looking for that motivation. They're all looking for that training program that allows them to feel like this becomes a bit of a second home. And you can definitely sense that, you know, whether it's the staff and how open and honest they are about who they've been, what they've been coming through, what they've achieved in time here, or yourself who, you know, let's face it, you've given up a lot of time to train alongside me. Yes, you know, you needed to work on your cardio, and you've admitted that.
I've become a better spinner.
Exactly. But in saying that as well, it's allowed, you know, that kind of dedication. I don't think you get that at any gyms that I've ever been to. And there's probably owners, etc., that try to do that, but I dare say they probably haven't evolved as much as what you guys have with having that underpinning program that allows you to get that kind of association. Like you coming down and doing a boot camp allows you to be there amongst 30, 40 people who probably don't have that contact with you each week. But they see that, you know, you practice what you preach. You're down there, you're doing it. You're struggling on some exercises like they do. But that takes away that kind of facade of just being an elite practice gym that you know only the top should apply. You know, and that's been great. It's really knocked it down. And you know, it's like anything. The community starts to see. I talk about the positive stories because people go, God, you've lost a lot of timber. You start to have that chat with people, and they go, if you achieve that there, maybe that's what I should be doing. So it's good.
It's good. And I wasn't happy about Tina getting me on that rope at the end, but thank God I beat her. I think I lost count, but I'm happy I lost count and just got off and I beat her.
I definitely think you stopped at 7.
There you go, guys.
Perfect.
Thanks, Ads. I appreciate it, mate, because I think what I love about this conversation, I reckon a lot of people are going to get a lot out of it. They're going to get more of an insight into me, more of an insight into you. The beauty is that this story is to be continued, and they're going to see a different version of Adam in the next 40 days, and it starts after the weigh-in tomorrow. We said we're going to start a week early, so there you go.
Exactly right.
Thanks,
so
Ads.
we can celebrate Saturday.
Yeah,
cool.
Beautiful. Thanks.
Thank you.
There you go.